Me are the original junglist from 19 Wadia, yeah, sir. Can't get to them lock up. Freedom, gangster. There is no original more original than this.
Yo, 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 what's going on? Say yons, it's your boy Jon Johnson, straight out of KingSlayer Gaming. But hey, I got the guest, the one out here on the channel joint today, bro. I'm talking former FSW tag team, FSW world heavyweight, PCW world heavyweight, the big bad angel of murder. I'm talking about the big bad war dog, Joe Graves. Boy, how you doing, dog?
After that intro, I'm doing real good.
Ooh, hey, bro, I'm just out here just trying to make sure we show the spotlight on the warpath that is my man Graves out here, dog. Yo, for the people that don't know, because I'm already a big fan of my man, tell the people, who are you and what is it that you do?
I'm Graves, and I don't necessarily have a gimmick. It's just kind of me being me and wanting to fuck people up. Somehow it resonated with some fans, and you know,
Bro, see, that's what it's about. My man is authentic, bro. If you look throughout his whole Instagram page, my man is genuine. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about, bro. So, hey, I just got a couple questions. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know my man is out here putting down bodies out here, dog. First off, bro, where is it that you wrestling, bro? Where are people out here looking at to find more Big Joe?
well, out here in Phoenix, IZW, I do those shows. Phoenix Championship Wrestling, I've been on a little hiatus from there. I like to say I got blackballed from my friend's company because I have too much of an attitude. Now, I've been like legitimately suspended from now multiple wrestling companies. So I don't know if somebody who doesn't have like a drug problem or anything like that has been suspended from more independent wrestling companies than I have. I got suspended from a company early on, like when I started. They didn't pay me. I wasn't paid there. I was like, this is the school I was learning at.
Sure.
Like PCW has their training facility, and I was the heavyweight champion. I didn't get paid, and I got suspended from that show. And then, you know, I have my opinions on how things should go, and it is annoying, I'm sure. So I haven't been at some of the PCW shows last few months. But I will be coming back. It's funny, like I go to the training school and help out, but I'm not on the shows.
I love it. Okay, so hey, is there a do you feel, because there's got to be a common denominator, not to put my man out there now, you know what I'm saying, but like,
no, it's me.
what the say this me?
I'm the problem.
Why is that going on, bro? Do you just not like authority? Like, what's good?
I did also get fired from a company. That's right. So that's another one. I'm like a grown adult person, and people in wrestling are children for the most part that are in sometimes grown up bodies, sometimes not so much. And I just I didn't start until I was in my late 20s, right? So I didn't have patience for nonsense. Like I'm not a smile to your face and then like shit on you behind your back kind of guy. Like I'm going to tell you what I think, and you know, I don't mean disrespect for it, like, because I'm not going to go out of my way to like hurt somebody's feelings. This is how it should be. This is how I think it should be. Like, can we work on this? Can we make this work? And then you have people in wrestling that, like, for whatever reasons, like they have a drug problem or they have an ego problem or whatever it could be. And I just don't have the patience for it. Especially, I always take it like a lot on myself. Like when it came to, even when I was new, like helping train the classes, right? Making sure the facility was clean. I'd show up early and like stuff like that. Whenever there was drama or anything like that, I always took it on myself, right? So like, I've been quitting wrestling since I was like 6 months in. So just dealing with all that, like I'm not, don't book me, right? I'll find something else to do. Like if you don't want me here, don't book me. That's okay. Like, I don't know if you've seen it, but I walk with a limp, you know, like having a weekend off is not the worst thing, but you know, the expectations are like, we should all be working towards the same goal, right? And we should work together to lift each other up. Wrestling's not traditionally that way, right? Even your friends, like, you don't know who's gonna like stab you in the back. That's how, like, if you hear any of those old guy stories, like, you're all friends, but if you run your mouth, somehow it gets to the promoter or the booker. I don't care, I've always, even from the beginning, like, I didn't think I was going to be WWE champion, right?
Okay.
Like, I'm
Okay.
so tall. I started at such an age. Like, I just wanted to wrestle. I wanted to travel. I wanted to be a wrestler, and I had the opportunity to do it, so I did it. And then when there's other people, like, I always want to help. So for me, it was enough to get to wrestle and do all those things, but also to have like an impact on the next generation of guys coming up. So that was what always was important to me. Make sure it made sense. Make sure, we're trying to get this story and trying to explain who these characters are, like that kind of stuff. But you have a lot of guys in wrestling that are just trying to put themselves over. And if you mess something up because you're trying to put yourself over and it affects me, I'm going to be mad. Like, you can't insert yourself in. You can't. All right. So years ago.
Okay.
I actually found this on YouTube the other night. I was just looking through. It was supposed to be a match between me and the Wine Lion for the vacated heavyweight title of the company.
Sure.
Then they added another guy, Tommy Drake. Hasn't wrestled in a long time, but he's wrestled for a long time before that.
Got you.
Then they added Hammerstone to the match. Because Hammerstone was new. This wasn't like Hammerstone now. This was young. This is like build up Hammerstone kid.
Got you.
And they wanted to put Hammerstone in so the promoter of the company could come out and start a feud with him. Like, interfere in the finish of the match.
Sure.
Now, everybody's upset about the match except me. And I'm the one that's been through the most stuff. I was like, coming off my suspension and all that. And I'm like, I don't care. I just want to have good matches. I don't care what drama or what we're trying to... I just want there to be good matches so I have something on video that I can show people and be like, look what I did. And when all this is going on, Alex is new. This is before Alex became like, Hammerstone became Hammerstone.
Sure.
Right? This is Pebblestone, So he's like a little overwhelmed. You have some of the guys have in their feelings and, all this stuff going around. They spend all these money bringing in like Hurricane Helms and Chris Master, all this to be in one match, all in a 5-on-5 match. They spend all that money. And the promoter injects himself into the finish of the match to start a feud with Alex. I don't care. It's fine. I get a speech on how I have a bad attitude about it.
Oh, wow.
And even Alex and I weren't friends yet. And even he's like, Joe's the only one that's trying to put this together. Wow. So he realized why my attitude was always so bad at that point.
I love it.
But the match comes. And I told Alex, I'm like, if anything goes wrong, just look for me. I'll fix it. Don't worry, just look at me, make eye contact, I'll figure it out. So now the end comes and Alex has the guy up in the rack like he's going to give that big Stonebreaker he used to do.
Yes, sir.
That I stole.
I love it.
But he has him up and the guy's supposed to come in and the guy's supposed to get behind and win.
Right.
And I'm like looking, because you can tell when somebody walks out, the crowd notices. So I'm like looking without trying to look.
Sure.
I notice nobody's looking. And then I look at Alex and Alex looks at me. I look back, nobody's coming. So I get up, I spear Alex, and like the momentum rolls me out of the ring.
Sure.
So I just kept rolling, so the other guy took the finish. All right, we play the whole finish off. The curtain closes behind me, and I went bonkers. The promoter who interjected himself into the match was nowhere to be found. After he gave me a speech, giving me a hard time.
Bro.
For hours I was doing this. And for months I was dealing with bullshit. So yeah, I got suspended after that because
because you blew up because homie didn't want to.
He left.
Wow.
He drove away.
What'd he say?
Oh, I had to go do something. Like, you did this. The match happened already?
Wow.
You were the semi-main.
Wow.
There's only so many matches.
Wow.
And so like that kind of stuff, like, and just the whole like environment was negative back then. Because like I said, I was watching some old videos, like R3.
Yeah.
Do all the video work. He still does a lot of it. But we're watching all the old stuff and like reminiscing. And the fans were so miserable back then.
Man.
Like they came just to yell and bark at people, like not to participate. Like fans, like
Sure.
the IZW crowds and the PCW crowds, like want to come and have fun. Like they want to watch us perform. back in the day, and even predating me, the fans came because like they had fan characters.
Okay.
And they wanted to get themselves over by talking shit to the wrestlers. So that was like kind of like the end of that period. So we're like, I'm watching these matches and the fans are just like awful. So you have negativity coming from the crowd. You have negativity in the back, making everybody negative in the ring. And it's like, well, wrestling's not great. So now you're going to all these different places and you're dealing with new bullshit at every different place you go to. And I was just like, I don't need to be here. You know, my body's only going to take so much for so long. My patience is only going to take so much for so long.
Man.
And wrestling's not like conducive to having a normal life, right? Like, yeah, you have a job, but you know, if the job wants to promote you, but you're not going to be able to go to training or you're not going to be able to travel on the shows, like you're going to be like, well, maybe I shouldn't, when you absolutely should.
Sure.
You know? Or maybe you should focus on work and your family, but you're not going to be around your family. You're going to training 3 or 4 nights a week. Right? You're going to go travel on weekends. Like having a girlfriend or a wife, not easy. Right? So I always try to talk people out of wrestling. Like a lot of podcasts, and like, what would you tell somebody that's getting wrestling? I always tell them. I don't know if this is going to be one of your questions.
Oh, absolutely.
Don't.
Oh,
do
okay.
it.
He skipped to the end joint,
Skip
baby.
to the end.
He skipped to because you know that's the second to last joint. I got a little trademark joint. That's
Yeah.
what I do. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, it's cool. It's okay. It's okay. We're gonna put it in here now. So for those trying to get into pro wrestling, just don't do it.
Just don't do it.
Oh, okay.
Find something better. Like, and I love wrestling as much as I hate it, and it sounds very negative from me. And I'm a kind of negative disposition kind of guy, but not everybody's gonna make it, and not everybody's gonna even make it that far. Like, you're gonna work your ass off. You're gonna break bones. You're gonna hurt your back, your ankles, your neck, or you're gonna miss all this time with your family. If you have kids, like you're picking this over your kids, and like some people, they need something, but it becomes an obsession. And if it doesn't, you won't even be mediocre at wrestling. You have to be all in, and that's not for everybody. You know, younger guys that are super athletic, that have some sort of charisma, make a run. Not everybody has to be WWE champion. You can have a good career of going out and having fun and wrestling and doing some stuff. But a lot of people come up because like, oh, I always want to be a wrestler, or I can't do a front roll.
Hey man, those are hard. All right, I've tried. Those are difficult.
I get
the
it.
average Joe off the street, we're not ready to mess up our shoulders like that. That's a lot.
I get it.
They tiny, you
but
know.
Like, but you're not going to go to a sport and not have gone to the gym, right?
He's spitting facts, y'all. He's spitting facts. Yep, that's true. That's true.
We used to get people, especially back in the day when we were out in Scottsdale, like, did you ever play? I'd ask a guy, you ever play a sport to try to like get on a level with them? Well, I was in theater, and this big overweight kid, and I was like, well, how about you act like you've run a lap in your life? And yeah, he quit.
Oh.
He didn't make it to the next. But and then you're taking bumps and stuff like that. Like, how are you supposed to survive that? And like the most athletic thing you did was walking up the stairs from your mom's basement. Like, it's dangerous.
True.
Right? And you have to take it seriously. You have to take it so seriously, everything in your life is secondary or maybe even third. And that's not for everybody. And that's okay.
Right.
It shouldn't be. And you know, like a few years ago, it was like the wrestling is for everybody. It's not. Wrestling is for anybody. Any shape, size, walk of life, gender fluidity, doesn't matter. But it's not for everybody.
Right.
Because you could be a pansexual unicorn, doesn't matter. If you're athletic and charismatic, maybe wrestling's for you. Right? You could be a straight white male, and if you can't get into like an athletic position, wrestling's not for you, right? It's not about that. It's about like, not everybody gets to the NFL, right? Not everybody, right, goes to even like jiu-jitsu class and is super successful. Not everybody goes to pick up basketball and is any good, you know? You know, if you don't make the shot, you don't get put on a team. You know, the first 10 to make a shot, that's
true.
You could be there all day and not like, there's usually barriers that are natural. But wrestling, because it's so open, there's so many different shapes and colors, not in people, but like that's what wrestling is. It's bright colors and explosions and all this exciting stuff. And we all grow up with it in some way. That everybody wants to be a part of it. But not everybody should. And you know what? If you're not really cut out, you could be a manager, you could be a referee. But like, if you love wrestling, don't wrestle.
Right.
Like, I like magic tricks. I like when you're scrolling through and you find the guys doing magic.
Yo.
I do not want to know how they do it.
Absolutely.
It ruins it for me. I like to know.
Yo.
I know these guys work for hours and hours and hours and hours perfecting and making sure their hands work a certain way to be able to do that. And they come up with something smart to distract you and talk through it. And I don't want to know how that works. I'm just happy it happened.
Wow.
Right? And it's cool. And then there's videos of videos where they're breaking it down. And then I saw a video of the breakdown video from the guy who was in the original video. And then the two guys did a video together.
Dude.
Like, that's fun. That's magic is fun. And wrestling used to be that. But now everybody thinks they can wrestle. So everybody gets involved. And the magic is gone. Don't lose the magic for yourself. Wrestling should be an escape, not another job. Wow. Like, if you're Hammerstone, that's different. Right? If you're Gallo and you dedicated your life to that, that's different. He's a giant dude.
Right.
Right? And those aren't even guys at WWE, right? Imagine what they're like.
Right. So
you don't have to not be involved, but like, do something better. Find a different avenue to take your life.
Yeah, I love it.
Because if you're not in 1,000%, don't be in it.
There's no point.
Too dangerous.
Oh man.
And even understanding that if you're in 1,000%, you might not make it. You're probably not going to make it. I was talking to a bunch of people and they're like having some troubles, and I'm like, if my career is your ceiling. Right? Like, if you'd be lucky to do the things that I've gotten to do in wrestling, right? Like, you got to, like, because Hammerstone, we're all local. They see Hammerstone and he's gigantic. He's built out of marble. They don't realize how many shitty truck stops we slept in traveling all over the place. Man. You know, like, he hurt his knee and we're driving back from Vegas in the middle of the night. He just starts screaming because his leg locks up and we got to pull it. Wow. How many like gas stations or behind a Denny's we slept at to go drive to Hemet, California to do a freak show as He-Man and Skeletor. Like,
what?
The fact that he spends all this time at the gym. I spend 3 hours a day at the gym. I'm going to leave here and be at the gym probably until 10 o'clock tonight.
Oh my God.
You know, like, you have to have that in you.
Sure.
And I, more personality-wise, did not get there.
Okay.
You know? But most people, if you can get to where I've gotten, I think you've done something.
Bro.
Right?
Bro.
Now, if you surpass, and I want everybody to do better than I did. I didn't do bad. I didn't do well because, like, I got negative about wrestling. I picked up jiu-jitsu because, like, and I just focused a little bit more on that.
Okay.
Which, of course, led to a lot of my injuries.
That I do have some questions about the jiu-jitsu because I did see the black belt and I do have some follow-up questions as well, but do finish.
So yeah, that's kind of what got jiu-jitsu was like I was wrestling. There's no wrestling in wrestling. There's like no grappling in it.
Dude.
So I had the itch, like I need to grapple. Like I wrestled in high school. Even when I was in college, I played football and did track and field. But like I'd go to like the off-season tournaments up in that area. You know, they have like the summer tournaments.
Yeah.
Right. So I'd do some of those. I did like Empire State Games in New York.
Okay.
Out here they have the Grand Canyon Games.
Yes. So
it's like the state Olympics. You know, they say. So I was still like involved in wrestling. Moved out to Arizona and, you know, after working at gyms and stuff like that, there was a jiu-jitsu school right next door. So the gym, I used to work at Independence Gym in Scottsdale.
Dude, I used to train right next door at Impact MMA.
Yeah, so
yes, sir.
Next door to that, where I don't know when you were there, but they had an empty spot.
Yes,
like They filled it with like a sports store, like the
I had
store.
just gotten, they hadn't gotten it figured out yet. What they were going to put there, but it was still empty.
We were in there.
Oh,
so wow. I talked to the owner and I talked to the guy that ran the company. And I was like, so first they had the ring in the gym in the back corner.
Okay.
And then they moved it to that open space because the owner of the gym owned the whole lot.
Right.
Used open space, and he was a real cool guy. Let's do that. So then when I started doing jiu-jitsu, we had a discount at Impact. So I'd go to jiu-jitsu and I'd go to wrestling training next door.
Wow. That is so awesome.
Yep. So I burned it on both ends. I knew there was going to be a wall. I knew I was going to hit a wall because I was like working out once or twice a day, doing jiu-jitsu twice a day, going to wrestling at night, and then when I stopped like training because everything kind of fell apart with that promotion, I was still doing jiu-jitsu twice a day, working out twice a day, traveling to wrestle on weekends. Like I wore it down hard.
Dude.
And,
So
yeah.
when you were talking about your injuries that you did suffer when doing jiu-jitsu, and is this straight up in training, in competition?
Oh,
How
all in
are
training.
this? It's all in
All in
training.
training.
Oh
So
man,
it was like 3 ribs
dude.
in order too. It's not good. And then tore my bicep. And then like there was a time like before COVID, I couldn't lift either of my arms past my shoulders.
Wow.
And then COVID locked everything down, and I started doing like a lot more like movement stuff, calisthenic stuff, because that's all we could do. Bands and I was like, oh, who'd have thought just taking it easy would heal all my.
I love it, dude. Okay, so we do have that background. So as you do continue with the BJJ, are you at any point during the matches having to hold back just a little bit? Because you know you can crank a certain way, and that could be the end of it. You know what I'm saying?
So having wrestled before jiu-jitsu, right? So I started doing pro wrestling before jiu-jitsu. So it actually helped me learn jiu-jitsu better because when you learn how to chain wrestle, it's bit by bit, so you can show everybody your work.
Wow.
So when I was learning jiu-jitsu, I was able to break it down like that and stay calm.
Wow.
And again, I was older. I was almost 30 years old when I started jiu-jitsu. So I don't have that, like, I didn't have that meathead, like, just do it as hard as possible kind of mentality. So when I started incorporating the jiu-jitsu into the wrestling, I'd either do it with guys that understood.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Like if I was going with like Jeff Cobb or Tim Thatcher,
Okay.
JR Kratos, or even Gallo, like, they understood. And they're big, strong, tough guys, you know. I'm not gonna break them with, right? But you understand like how to work a hold. Because even in jiu-jitsu, especially at first, I was the biggest guy in class. My instructor, Tequeno Mendez, he won ADCC in 2019 at 37 years old.
Wow.
But he's won every world championship there is. But he competes at like 130 something pounds.
Bro.
He's Sean O'Malley's jiu-jitsu coach. He's the little Brazilian guy.
Dude, yo, that's right.
But he is the baddest motherfucker there is. Like he'll put like his knee on you. I can't move him. I cannot pick him up off of me in any way. Even as a black belt, like I'm just gonna play underneath him.
I can't. Holy
But
God.
like, and he's just that kind of guy. So that's who instructed me. And at first he's just like letting me do whatever weird shit I didn't really know I was doing. But I knew like some catch wrestling and stuff like that. And he'd just look at me like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know." And then he's like, "Joe, that's legal." Finally, I hit a legal move. He's like, "But as a brown belt." I was like, "Oh, okay." So I was with him. So he taught me, he's like, work from the bottom. Because everybody in the class was small. Now they have a lot more big guys. But back then, I was the biggest guy. And I didn't want to just like be on top of everybody, not learn anything.
Interesting.
So I learned to be a bottom player. Because it's more fun. There's more stuff to do.
Wow.
So when I'm on top, I can go.
Yeah.
Like standing up from my wrestling background, I can go. But then it turned into being on my back. I was better.
Wow.
And I just enjoyed it. So I had to learn, like, take care of the people you're working with. Even in jiu-jitsu where you're really trying to submit people, like, still, like, I have you, and now we're just going to progress into, okay.
Oh, wow.
Right? So it's all work. Now, when you're going against, like, super dangerous guys, like, you know, but there's always got to be that control of your body. And that's athleticism, is to be able to control yourself. So it did carry over to wrestling a bit, and I was trying to get that over as like a different style because you know you got the British kids that do their they're like high tempo grappling where it's a lot of rolling up. Well, I tried to work like how can I play bottom? How can I do this? How can I in a wrestling match? And it was nice because there was a company in Northern California, Premier Wrestling, right, where that's what they did. It wasn't a high spot show; it was a grappling show. It was like like King
like
of
a
Wrestling.
hybrid kind of joint, or
It was So it was like the King of Wrestling kind of wrestling, that old British.
Oh
stuff
yeah.
Right. That is what they had in mind. So it's tough guys grappling. right? And really working locks and like a punch in the face can knock you out. Like it was like that, right? And then we did a tournament, like a rounds tournament, like they used to do in Britain, and yeah, it was great experience. But I was allowed to bring my jiu-jitsu to there, and then I ended up feuding with Tim Thatcher, who has that old school British like joint manipulation, and he's tall and lean, and I am short and stout, and it was like we looked so different and we worked so different. But I tell you, every time I went to California, I either wrestled him on a show somewhere or I wrestled Hammerstone.
Wow.
So every time I go to California, it didn't matter. I would only wrestle those two guys. But there was 1 month before I tore my bicep where I wrestled J.R. Kratos in the NWA.
Okay.
Cobb and Thatcher in the same day in the tournament.
Wow.
Marty Casillas.
Okay.
Marty the Moth.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Right? All in like a 3-week span.
Wow. Oh my God.
Right? And those are all big, like tough guys.
Yes.
Right? And I was like part of that group. And I realized like around that point, I'm like, I might never be famous. But guys that know will know me. Right? Like I can walk into a room with those guys and they know me. And they know like who I like. I'm the guy, I'm like the locker room guy.
Absolutely. Hey, absolutely.
And then eventually when fans got behind it, because that was starting to become prevalent, more mainstream.
Okay.
It's not much anymore, but there was a little burst of time, especially like around Evolve. And then I had that God of War stuff going.
Dude, I still scream war.
Right.
Like every time. Whenever I don't even know if it's something that you because I'm looking through the socials and I don't know if it's part of the moniker, you know what I'm saying, anymore. But when you
still is. I still do the work.
I can't help it. I can't.
But like,
I see you.
I modernized the God of War thing because the original idea was in FSW.
Okay.
Right? Alex was still young. I started traveling with him because he needed somebody to go to Vegas with. And the original guy he was going with bailed, hit me up, and I'd stopped going to Vegas. Like I was just like another show with other stuff. Just gonna go there, work my dark match or first match on the card.
Yo, okay.
With all these angry midgets.
I can't. I love it.
And so he and I started going, and then DeFalco, the promoter, the owner there, wanted to pair us together, right? Because I was the more the worker, and Alex, is Alex.
Sure.
So it was like having us together. Alex would learn more how to work, and he would do all the big high spots and stuff like that. And that was kind of the dynamic between us. So that's where the Gods of War was.
Right.
So they started it there. So like Alex had this giant hammer. I went and got like the shield, the Spartan shield.
Yo.
Right. I got the little outfit, like my little dresses.
It was hot. It was hot. I'm sorry. That flavor was unmatched. I just want you to know, like, still to this day. Go ahead.
And then the God of War thing, I kept the moniker, and Alex just became Alex. So when the tag team split up. But I had just started the war chant, and I'm 100% sure nobody had any idea what I was saying. Because it just sounds like I'm just making like barking noises. That's why I got the jersey. I put war on the back just in case so they could figure it out.
I love it.
But my issue was J.R. Kratos was the God of War too. So I wouldn't give myself, especially J.R., I deeply respect him,
Sure. Absolutely.
I wouldn't just give myself that name and hope for the best, It was put on me, so I just kind of ran with it in a little bit of a different way. Like I want to be more traditional, like this crazy Spartan idea. So that's where I got a lot of fire. Was learning, like, just diving into that character.
Dude.
So like as it progressed, I just kind of kept all that, and it fit me. Like that's kind of who I am. I'm like that.
She's not wrong. I can't help it. Every time I see you, I get war. I gotta go.
Yeah, it's not that I do anything crazy. Like sure, like the suplexes and the stuff I do is rough, but like I don't do anything ridiculous. But you believe me when I'm doing it.
I do.
Right? I have intensity.
It's that look, bro. I'm be honest with you. So I'm full disclosure. When I'm behind the camera and I was there for your match with Jacob, you know what I'm saying, for the 3D sports title, bro. I'm just gonna be as soon as he went for a kick on you, and I'm gonna play the clip here. As soon as he went for a click on you, you were already behind him, and you had the most stonewall like it was terrifying. It really was, because you were going for that German. I know you love German suplexing people. Like, I see it in your face, bro. I don't never see you smile hard enough when you put some dudes on top of their head. So when you were back, I'm just saying.
It's fun.
I'm just saying, bro. It's like a weird giddy. That's the smile. That's that giddy smile you get when he about to slam somebody on top of their head.
When I was in training, he used to give me a hard time about it because I'd smile.
Really?
Like, stop smiling. But this is fun.
It's terrifying to watch you, sir. Like, I just want you to know, from a fan perspective. See, that's terrifying right there. Like, that really is. You enjoy the things, but my man is having fun doing what he loves, right? But it's just terrifying to the rest of the population. That's all it is. That's all I'm just saying.
Be. You're not supposed to enjoy this. I know how much pain I'm going to be in afterwards, and I know what I'm doing to the other guy. And like, what can you do?
I love it. I love it, bro. Hey, so just got a quick question for you. While you are going to be going through and slamming fools on top of their head, did you ever think growing up, some of that aggression might be towards some gaming, perhaps? This is a gaming channel. You know what I'm saying? Do you have?
I'm old. So you gotta understand. Like,
talk to me.
Like, I was like kind of maxed out at PlayStation 2.
Oh, hey, PS2 fan. Hey, all day.
So, Twisted Metal.
Ooh.
Twisted Metal still. I even watched the show, and it's not there, but I get it. It's fine. It's close enough. Where it was enjoyable, and they're hitting all these nostalgic points. That's fine. But yeah, that was like, I liked my games that I liked. You know, I wasn't like I'm not super into gamer culture, just because like I can't. Like, I'll sit and play God of War.
Sure.
And it'll be like 12 hours later, and I'm like, well, I ruined like 3 days of my life now. How am I gonna sleep?
Sure.
Right? Or like Tekken 7. So I have PlayStation 4, so that was
okay.
Like Tekken 7, I was like, I'm not going to sleep until I hit like Grandmasters, and I was like, all right, I gotta chill. Right? Mortal Kombat 11 was great. I haven't played one yet.
That's a fun one.
But like,
that's a fun one.
I like the games where you just stop. Like Mortal Kombat, like those fighting games, you could stop at some point. Like, all right, I hit this point. All right, I gotta get away. But like, I'm compulsive with a lot of things, so playing games is not necessarily conducive. Okay. Especially with all the other things I'm obsessed with. And I have a girlfriend who expects attention.
There you go.
You know, so. And like, I'm old now. My hands don't work that good.
They don't work as
I ain't quick.
I love it, bro. Hey, we just want to make sure that you know you weren't just like full anti-gamer culture. That's all.
No,
okay,
that's, man.
You know.
If you look through my YouTube videos, you'd be like,
good.
You feel all right.
Okay. So, hey, as we talk about managing everything that you got going on, we talked about you having to work out multiple times throughout the day for hours, you know what I'm saying, to put in that work. Is that just to maintain the BJJ acumen, or is that also to maintain pro wrestling? Like, are you training for both simultaneously? Like, what's up?
Now, not so much because of like breaking down. I haven't done jiu-jitsu in about a year.
Oh, okay.
So I got my black belt in 5 years.
Yeah.
By 7 years, I was like, my hip got real bad. Like, I couldn't even really defend myself with the leg. Oh wow! Even though it was painful, I was still pushing, but I couldn't really use my right leg. So I was like, I can't do this anymore. But so I was working out for wrestling and jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
Both separately at the same time, which contributed to a lot of like why I'm messed up now.
Fair.
I overtrained consistently probably since I'm like 13 years old.
Wow.
Even now, like if I take a day off, I get anxiety.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be 40 years old soon, you know, and I'm still like, I gotta go,
dude.
Right. So, as much as it benefited me because I was strong and I was able to move, there was a short shelf life on it. I knew that I was going to kind of hit that limit physically, and I certainly did.
Bro. So as we talk about the limp, I did not know that that's where this came from. You know what I'm saying? I thought it actually came out of the the rivalry of the summer that you had this past summer, you know what I'm saying, with Big Dom. So talking about that just a little bit, you know what I'm saying? What did that rivalry mean to you? Because my man's out, you know what I'm saying? He's gone, you know what I'm saying? It's from his own joint, you know. So long term, what's up?
It is wrestling though, and nobody's ever actually done. Like Ric Flair still wants to wrestle,
bro. At 74, bro.
Like when we did the Lion Classic.
Yes, sir.
Like, tell me, John's not gonna get that itch to wrestle. You know, John, the Hawaiian Lion's been 40 years old since I met him 12 years ago. So he is, like, in my mind, like, sure, he's out, and he's got a lot of great things going for him in his life. Because once wrestling stopped, everything else got better.
I love
figure. But like, even like during the whole thing, like, I was really emotional about it, you know, because I've had a great relationship with John. Part of me was like, how long is this going to be? Because especially Navajo Warrior still wrestles, you know.
Yeah. Oh, dude, and he's a sight every single time you see him, bro. Like, crowd.
Once he got
they
into that
know
strongman stuff, man.
Huge, man. Like,
he's a big man to begin with. That is so big. And the Hawaiian Lion's gigantic. Both. I'm a big guy. I'm 270 pounds.
You are
both my legs together are the size of his one leg. So everybody, if you like, why doesn't Graves do like more cool stuff? It's because the first feud I ever had was with the Hawaiian Lion. And good luck moving him around and doing all kinds of weird shit. I tried. And John tried, but he's just so thick. It's like, what am I supposed to do?
Yo.
So like, we got German suplex.
Bro, that's hot. That's hot. Hey, yo, being for real about it. And speaking about being for real, there is something that you do that no one else that I've seen in pro wrestling in life ever does this. I'm on your Instagram joint. I'm scrolling through. You seem to pick a couple of different trash cans and or toilets whenever you have a show. Can you talk about this a little bit? Can you elaborate? What's going on?
So this did kind of originate around the time me and Dom had our feud, right?
Okay.
But it wasn't because of that feud. You go on social media, you see every wrestler with every opponent they had, they talk all this shit to each other in the promos. They're posting all their Facebook posts, their Facebook post promos, and then after the match, they're giving the hug and the book. This guy, he's great. So that's where I got it.
Yeah.
I was just like, I just saw one and it bothered me that day, and we're on our way to Vegas, and I was like, wait, do this. So I took the picture next to the trash can. And then, like, it became more people wanted me to do it than I'd forget. They'd wake me up. Hey,
no.
We're at a gas station. Go take the picture. No. And I'd be like, all right, put the hat back on. And then people got more into that. Even when I was single last year.
Mm-hmm.
Only when I was single last year. But, like, you know, girls... They go on your Instagram and they're like, so what's up with the garbage cans? No matter everything else. There's a picture of me Germaning two guys, like Chris Bay and another guy, together at the same time. No, nobody says anything about that. What's up with the garbage cans? That's the most over...
You get people talking, bro. Like,
we got put over the trash you got to deal with, man. I deal with a lot of garbage.
Bro, hey, that's it. That's all I really wanted you to say. Like that.
For a long time when I was going to FSW.
Okay.
Right? I was like a mid-card person. I was fine. Like, because I can work with kind of anybody. Because my style, I don't need you to really do anything. So you just do your stuff. I figure out my stuff. I'll fucking catch you. I don't need you.
Okay.
I'll do the stuff to you whether you want it or not. So I can work with a lot of different guys. And every time I'd go, I didn't know who I was wrestling. I'd show up and basically whatever big guy just showed up, DeFalco would put him with me. Because I can get a decent match out of pretty much anybody because I have a system. Sure. I have a structure. I like to be creative in the structure, so it makes it feel a little different. Right? So every Jamoke would come, I would have to wrestle that guy. So I got used to dealing with like garbage stuff. Like
fair.
Not that they're garbage human beings, but like, you know, trash situation. You know, like most guys know who they're wrestling and they could come up with some stuff. I'm just like, I don't know. We'll figure it out when I get there.
Yo.
Talk to the guy for a minute, see what moves they do. And big guys that don't know what they're doing, it's always a spine buster. That's how you know a guy doesn't really know. Like, they think he's big and tough. Whether he's 5'6" or 6'6", if they think they're a tough guy, they can all do a spine buster. So you're putting together a match. I always tell new guys this. if you're putting together a match with somebody from out of town, and one of their moves is spine buster, just know you're in for a rough one, right? Because it's like the beginner move for big guys.
Wow.
Nobody ever really does it that good. So it's like, oh, the spine buster.
Wow.
So I would be like, what moves do you do? All right, like, what's the character? And I'm like, well, you know, I don't really. Oh, okay, so you don't know. Great, okay. Look around. I'll be right back. Go to the bathroom, sit on the toilet, come back out with the whole match. You know,
What?
that's just the way I was. Now, I'm not saying these are 5-star New Japan main event matches, but it's a 7-minute match that gets a guy that's not used to wrestling a certain way to look like he's very competent, right? And that's where a lot of the jiu-jitsu was great, because my conditioning was so good. And I would just blow guys up real early in like the chain stuff.
Oh,
Meanwhile, I'm doing all the chain.
right.
I'm doing everything. I'm moving you through stuff. Like, and they'd be so blown up that even if they wanted to be a tough guy on me, they're too tired.
They got nothing left.
That's just me telling them what to do.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot. I love it. I love it. So, hey, real talk, because my man has a busy schedule. He's got to get the pump and that iron out here in the gym tonight. So I just wanted to got 2 more questions for you before you take your leave. Bro, first off.
I'll talk all night, man.
Stop.
I go to the training school to help out.
Okay.
We'll do like one like long drill of things, like some creative way to like put something together.
Yeah.
And then I'll talk for 2 straight hours.
Yo, hey, I'm on your time, baby. I'm just happy that you here to grace the presence and let us know, because my man is breaking it down in different routes we never even thought about. You know what I'm saying? From even just the few different things we've talked about, from the jiu-jitsu, being able to take what you know and putting it on display, because as you're in training, you know what I'm saying, you have to, and this is just a little peek behind, I don't do a lot, you know what I'm saying? So when I get the chance to say, I got some experience, I got to talk about it. So when my experience, when it came to in that training center, when it came to different wrestling holds and things like that, because my man walked into a couple of different classes, when you are doing that, you have to put it on display for the entire crowd to see, you know what I'm saying, from all the different angles, right? And if my man is doing jiu-jitsu, you know what I'm saying, that in itself is going to be able to translate so well, because like he said, you don't do a lot of chain grappling when it comes to the straight wrestle joint, do you? Okay.
It adds something different.
Yo.
Right? Different element, because you know, what's old becomes new again. So that kind of stuff that kind of got phased out with just doing like sequence spots.
Sure.
Or like where they call their, like the lucha guys, like call their chain where they know they're going to do back and forth.
Dude.
Like there's something to be said about like the struggle in the beginning of a match. A lockup. Right? How you do a lockup and how you explain that story. To how you take a wrist or you take a headlock. Right? You're telling everybody what you are. You're telling everybody who you are and how you do that. Right, the seriousness that you've taken this, the intensity you're going to do things with. So now when it escalates to hitting bombs on each other, like you've built that up and you've earned that. And you've prepared the crowd to understand. And if you tell the story right, they'll stay into it. And they're like more watching. They want to see somebody get fucked up. They want to see 2 big bad dudes beat the shit out of each other. Right? For all intents and purposes, that's what the performance is. So you have to keep that stuff in mind. And like doing the jiu-jitsu, right? That's what it all is. It's grinding. It's who's going to put the work in, who's going to, and if you can tell that story in a wrestling match with that mindset of I'm always in danger, so is the other guy, right? It connects you to people. But of course you have to have all the other elements. You have to be charismatic. You have to be able to connect with people. But when people are watching you, everything should look like you're trying to like hurt people. That was the biggest compliment I ever got. Was I was wrestling a match. It was a tag team match. It was Gods of War, me and Alex. And I did something, and a fan yelled, "Doesn't he know this is fake?"
Bro.
Because all the shit I did just looked like I was trying to fucking kill people.
Wow.
And that's kind of how I'm going to be remembered.
Bro, and what makes it so crazy is that you just broke the whole mold right there. Because a lot of people, that's the F word is a bad word, you know what I'm saying? And when we have the majority of the outside world who don't understand what this is, they take the opposite route to that. Well, they say, okay, well, this is supposed to be fake, right? But at the end of the day, you do things so terrifying, so well, that they question whether or not this is reality or if you just out here just trying to kill people. Like, like that is phenomenal. Like, do you go to bed just a little bit like, you know, whatever, I got a bigger dick than you now because you just chill? Like, what's up?
No, it's not even that. It's I'm not 6'5". I can't do triple backflips, but I can look mean.
Bro.
I'm really good at looking mean. Right? But what does that mean? Like, you have guys that look mean and throw punches, and you're like, okay. Right? But that takes you out of it. When you see things that you expect to be a certain way, it's not, it takes you out of it.
Bro.
So for me, it's not just I think I'm a badass. It's people kind of think I'm badass, and like I'm not well. Like a lot of the bad things that you see happen to me in matches, usually my idea. Right? So why would I be something that I'm not? Because this is who I am. I'm somebody that would stop something with my head. Right? Like when I played football, that's how I played football, because that was back when you're allowed to do that. When I wrestled, that's how I wrestled. Like when I did pro wrestling, that's how I did pro wrestling. Right? Sure, it's cost me like my physical well-being a bit, but like that's who I am.
Sure.
So that's how I wrestle, and that's how I try to get it across to the fans. And they believe that. Whether they think like the moves and everything like that are really killing people, or
Sure.
they believe that like I'm putting that kind of realism into it, like because wrestling is not fake. You are hitting the ground. You are hitting like each other, right? You're trained to learn how to land, right? But it's not gentle. There's a match Gallo and I had years ago at AWF.
Okay.
The ring was kind of janky, so I was like, let's just do the whole match on the outside, because at least the outside's flat.
Wow.
So we wrestled the whole match on the outside until the last 10 seconds of the match.
Wow.
And I was taking suplexes to the outside. We were doing all kinds of shit, right? And it's like, tell me that's not real. Like, we're right there in front of you, right? I'm hitting the ground. We're hitting the ground. Like, that hurts. I'm going through chairs. Like,
I followed you outside the ring because you do that. By
I
the
love
way,
doing that.
you do that. Like, and I follow you, and every time if you even step before you punch, the ground shakes. Like it really does.
There's a brutality to wrestling. There is. Even guys like where you think you're not. Like, look how many guys that do flips and stuff mess themselves up, blow out their knees, hurt their shoulders. Right? Cody Rhodes popped at pec. Right? You see, like all those guys got hurt. All the small guys that went to WWE, they all got hurt because shit's dangerous.
Yeah.
Right? And you have to kind of remind the fans that this is dangerous. Right? When you do a chop on the outside and they can feel the right? Imagine how much that hurts. Right? Now imagine how much everything else hurts. You know, the worst thing, I used to do the diving headbutt off the top, like Bam Bam.
Okay.
I used to get hurt every fucking time I did it. Every time, like, I put my wrist up or something like that. It hurt all the time. Right? It's not, you're anything can happen in a wrestling ring. You ever see those videos? The guy does a flip to the outside and hits his head on the fucking ring post?
Yes.
Right?
Very terrifying spots, bro. I can't watch them. I really can't.
That's, and most people, like normies that don't actually, like, really watch wrestling, think it's a trampoline that we wrestle on. It's metal and wood. Some places it's not even a mat on top. They use like carpet padding.
That
And that gets chewed up, so it's like divots in the ring.
Oh my. Yo.
Right? I've seen people break their legs, ankles. Any possible thing can happen.
Jesus. So quick before, bro, because I'm just gonna keep on talking to this man. We're not gonna let him go. I want to ask, where can people find you, my guy, as far as the socials are concerned, so they can see first off more of these dope garbage pictures.
Well, I gotta win matches.
I
had a feud with Dom for 1.5 years. I didn't win any of the matches. The first match I won was the tournament for the championship, which is actually how you tell the story. But and then, like, some of the promoters like, why don't you put I have to win. What good is worse than a garbage match when I lose?
I can't. I love it. So where can they find you, big dog?
So my Instagram is Graves_hates you.
He said that out of it's probably out of hatred too.
No.
Look, look it up. Real talk. I already have it right down here below. It's been flashing, as you can already see right there. You know what I'm saying? Yo, when's the next show we finna have you at, my guy?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna tell you, we had a show in Coolidge this past year.
Yeah.
ICW.
Absolutely.
I forgot until Wednesday that I was supposed to go down there. I had plans to like go to my sister's house and stuff like that, and we had it marked off on the calendar for months. And then I was scrolling, I see the poster, and I'm like, "Oh, that's this Saturday." And it's not that I don't care; it's that like I just don't know. Now the shows are like so far apart. Like I used to not know. Like Alex would message me, "Hey, we're going this place and this place this weekend." I'm like, "Okay." Or like the FSW promoter may message me. He'd be like, "This is like okay." That's the whole conversation. But when Class, before he had his surgery, he was going to Vegas. We go drive up together. Joe wouldn't message me; just message Class to bring me with him. Oh, wow. The same thing with Alex. Alex did all that. I didn't do any of that stuff. That's why Alex is a star, because he was good at all that stuff and he like understood. Like that's what makes you a successful at this business. Okay, it's not just the physique and all that stuff. Because there's a lot of guys that look great that are around, but they don't have that mindset of hustle. Email every promoter, push yourself. Like I was just like, I don't want to go somewhere new and have to deal with new bullshit. Like if my friends are going, I'll go. That's cool because at least I get to hang out with my friends. But,
swear.
Like, the one time I pushed myself to go to a show, I got fired from it because it just. And Alex was there too. That was the worst thing. But that's the thing. Like I lost that like desire to just continue because I had a bad start. Bad experience. Start. So now I'm old. And I have like a real job. It's like I'll wrestle in places that don't make me crazy, or at least I feel like I'm a part of it. Right. You know, like I'm helping. Like I can watch matches and give guys feedback. Hear guys put their stuff together and try to direct them into something at least interesting or new, or solidify an idea that they have. Because I want to teach. I want to be part of teaching these guys to be better, be a little different, find their way, so they don't have to deal with the pitfalls that I went through. Okay. It's like I am the cautionary tale of how easy it is to like hate it. Right? And not do the things that you should do. Okay. Right? Okay. Where Alex is the opposite. We were together, but he did all the right things, and I'd rather go to jiu-jitsu open mat on Saturday. Got you. Shows, Got you. So like for me, being part of younger guys learning everything and not dealing with the bullshit and not having to find out as they go what to deal with, like to me that's really what my niche is now. Okay. Right. I can still get over, I can still do some stuff, but that's second to wrestling guys and trying to teach them another way. Another way to put matches together, another way to demonstrate themselves, another way to present, right? Another way to put matches, just think about like how you communicate your ideas with guys. And then like kind of mosey around and hear ideas and share my input. And I love it. Because like everybody's going to have like, if you do it long enough, you have to have an impact on people. Right? Whether it's going to be because you made it as a big star or because you were there with guys at the beginning or when they had their hard times, and you help them through that. And I feel like that's kind of my angle is to still can be creative. Okay. Right. Still can have my matches, but can still be like, having me on a show should better the show in some ways, in layers. So I still have that. So I'm going to keep wrestling until I can. I'm pretty close to not being able to, but I'm going to keep doing it anyway.
Man, I love it. I'll just get one more question before you do bounce. And I just have a little comment that I do want to add because I don't write any of this stuff down. I just straight up just have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? I just want to make sure that it's just all authentic as I can. And what you just did triggered some authenticness out of me, dog. Because when you were in your last IZW match, not the coolest show, but the one where you were going up against Jacob, and you did an outside dive. The first thing out of your mouth was, "I'm too old for this shit." That was the. I loved it. I loved it.
I've said that for the last 12 years. So honestly, I was saying that when I was in high school playing football, trying to put my cleats on. When I was in college, did you play football or anything like that?
I did wrestling.
There's just days like where you go to put your shoes on and like your feet hurt.
Absolutely.
And you're just like, that like sadness. It's not depression. It's not. It's just like, or like when I played football in college, it was like way upstate New York, so the weather was always bad, and your cleats are still like a little wet from the day before, and like your skin all hurts. And you're like, you put the cleats on, and you're just like, oh, nobody deals with this shit. But then where you're going, it's like, oh yeah, this is why I like football. On Saturdays, you're like playing, and it's like, oh yeah, it's this. This is, I'm good at this.
I love it.
That's like wrestling. It's like you have to go to the show. You're like, you're on the way there. You can tell when my mood starts to go down, especially a long trip. We go to Vegas.
Okay.
And like the first 3 hours, I'm fine. And then the last hour and a half, it just starts to go. And then if we ever show up like too early, so bad.
Oh no. Oh, does it have to be that sweet spot for you? Like,
it does. I don't like being late because like I need to warm up and get ready.
Sure.
But, like, to be at a wrestling show for like 10 hours.
Oh no.
It's like the IZW show at the pizza place.
Okay.
There's 14 matches. I didn't go on until 10 o'clock at night.
I was doing the filming and I didn't notice it until I
a long time. Like I was gonna show up early because I wanted to put the match together with Jake and like make sure. And then I was like, stop at this quick trip for a minute. Went to the bathroom, hung out, and all stuff. Got there, and I was like, put the match together, and then the show starts. And then the show actually starts.
Holy crap.
And then by the end, it's like 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, the kids left.
Bro, do you think that's why R3 went on first so we can sit there for the kids? So we can have kids first match?
Oh, I don't know. But if R3 friggin' comes out and does the promo, he's in the back, he's telling me, I'm going to do a Graves promo. Oh, you're going to curse and bury the business? Smiles. And then that's what he did. And then Jake was so mad, he's like, so mad. He like chased all the kids away. I'm like, it's 10 o'clock at night. That's why we're in the ring and we're talking to each other and he walks up with the belt. That's what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, it's 10 o'clock at night. So they've been here for 4 hours. I don't want to be here anymore.
Yo, that's for real. Hey,
they used to do the shows where they film like 4 shows at once. So they'd have like TV. Because when we used to do TV out here, right, like they do, it's like paid programming when you see like local wrestling, right?
Yeah.
So they'd film all that shit in one night. And that's like 6 hours.
That's a lot.
You expect the fans to be there for all of that, like fired up?
They drain.
And then the last match is usually the important one. Now they've been sitting there this whole time. Most of them left. They don't care about your main event. You just killed your main event.
Oh, man.
Right? So it's like, there's got to be, why are we here so long? What are we doing?
Oh, my God.
That's why the PCW Arizona shows are great. They're succinct. Right?
That's true.
I don't give a shit about time cues. Like, I famously don't care. I'll start yelling at a referee when they tell. But, like, we're never done after 9:15, 9:20 with the cage match and everything like that. We get there. So the fans can stay for 2-3 hours and be there. Once it gets over 3 hours, even 2.5 hours, how do you expect them to see that? And if you overbook the shows with all these crazy matches, they're exhausted. That's not fair. So getting to a show super early to sit there.
I can't. Oh my gosh. I can just imagine. I can only imagine. I'm not trying to ever be on your bad side. So, hey, I just got one last one to wrap it on up. Anything you got to say out here? Because, my man, you've already, pretty much been off cuff from the joint. You know what I'm saying? He's held nothing back. That's what he does. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was so excited to get my man out here so we could just peel back the curtain and just let my man go off and do his thing. So, anything you want to say out to the wrestlers that are not only trying to make it, but possibly already have had an athletic background, right? Because we want to, you know, I know you already gonna tell them just not to do it because we already established that. We got it. But for those that are taking this joint seriously and they want that next step, what's the advice, dog?
The biggest thing is once you learn how to wrestle, stop watching wrestling.
What?
Watch wrestling because you have to. Like, you know, you have to do the work. You have to watch. Don't miss out on it. But too many guys just watch wrestling and try to take all their ideas from wrestling. And then all you become is a copy of another guy. Oh, wow. Right? Like, there's been guys that like have literally called spots that are named after the guy that's currently doing the spot. It's like, oh, we're gonna do the Gargano spot. Now, I don't watch wrestling, so I didn't know who that was at the time. And I'm like, I knew who he was. You know? I was like, is that a guy that's wrestling now? Yeah. And that's his spot? Yeah. And is he on TV doing it? Yeah. Then why the fuck are you doing it? Right? Because too much in indie wrestling, especially like established, like independent, they try to do like copycats of other things. And so the show, like the storyline is a copy of this other thing. Or a guy is a wrestler and his favorite wrestler or the wrestler he most connects with because they look alike or kind of like, I like those moves. You just become a shitty copy of that guy. Right? Like, that's TV. Right? That's Broadway. Sure. We are like dinner theater. Right? So not only, and there was a time where Impact was just copying WWE spots. And then we're copying the Impact spots. So it's like a copy of a copy. Like, nobody wants to see the guy that works at the liquor store down the street do the same shit that, like...
I love it.
It's like, be yourself. Find something different. At first, I'm not kidding. Like, I was telling, like, we were going around the class, and I was like, so what do you see your character? And one person had, like, a hard time and got upset. And I'm like, listen, I was, like, a little emo kid at first. Like, if you see way back, I found the videos, like, got the hair down. And, like, I didn't know what I was, right? I was like, I'm kind of, you know, people see me as, like, a depressed-looking person because I have that, like, resting, suicidal face. So I just kind of, like, pushed into that. And I was like, that doesn't feel right. And then the God of War thing was so much fun. I really leaned into that. And I realized, like, this is what I am. All I think about all day is fucking people up. Like, I think different ways to do it, whether it's jiu-jitsu or wrestling and how to... Like, all I do all day is think about fucking people up. When I was a personal trainer, because I was always so worried about, like, somebody getting hurt, I'd imagine them tripping and falling and hitting their head and stuff. So basically... And then there's a long time where I was watching Criminal Minds at night before bed, which is I do not recommend.
I was going to say.
So, like, I have nightmares about...
I was like, is that where this came from? Like, is this where...
So every, like, moment, waking or not, of my life, I'm thinking about, like, bad things. That's just who I am. So why am I trying to be something other than that? That's who I am, and that's interesting in itself. So I'm just going to push that and be that, right? But a lot of this stuff, a lot of the thought process isn't like, oh, I saw this wrestler do this, so I want to do that. It's watching movies, listening to music. Like, what do you connect with outside of wrestling? And then you put that and try to fit that into the wrestling universe and how that's going to work and how you can use it in matches and how can you work with characters and how can you get that across to the fans, right? Because otherwise it's like every guy is just the same thing. It's like every short white guy that's not super athletic but is tough thinks they're like Chris Benoit or Stone Cold. Every little white guy with a drinking problem is Stone Cold, you know?
Sure.
Right? Or every like alternative white guy thinks he's Hardy or RVD.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like every skinny black guy thinks they're Kofi Kingston. Every big black guy thinks they're Booker T. And Mexicans are either Eddie or they're Ray. You don't have to do any of that. You could be anything. In my mind, like I'm white iced tea. The character now is just white iced tea. Come out to iced tea with body count that we're doing in Vegas. Like, he's just angry, mean, wears a hat, and just talk shit.
I love it. I love it.
Right? You ever see like his live stuff when it's your body count?
Yeah.
My name's not Ice T anymore. That's not Ice motherfucking T. It's Ice motherfucking T, bitch. Like that is. I was like, that connects with me. That's how I feel. Right? Like that's what I think of. Right? That's what I think about. That's my motivation. The wrestling, we learn how to wrestle. We train for that. But be a character. Lock into it. Make it something that resonates with you. Don't get it from wrestling. It's already been done. Been done better than you're going to do it. Because even if you do it better than the guy that originally did it, he did it originally, so he's better at it. Because that's who they're going to... Have you ever watched like old wrestling?
Yeah.
Like from the 80s?
Absolutely.
Most of it is horseshit. Right?
Yeah.
And you see like really good guys like Arn Anderson like dragging 280-pound corpses through matches, right? That's what most of those guys were, but they locked into our memories because those guys had something. Right? When I was a little kid, I didn't know Ultimate Warrior was a bad wrestler.
Same.
Right?
Yeah.
But then as I grew up, so I always say like everybody that tells you their favorite wrestler growing up was Macho Man is lying.
Wow.
They didn't start to understand what he was doing until they grew up and learned it.
And can fully
everybody liked Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior, and they didn't do shit. Right? They just acted crazy and coked up. Macho Man acted crazy and coked up. But when you watch his matches back, you're like, wow, there's a lot of thought in this. There's like he really put a lot into putting these matches together. Same with Bret Hart, and that's why like if you watch those matches now, they stand up. Where you watch like Ultimate Warrior stuff, you're like, oh, they're just trying to run him through here fast to hide that he's not good. Right? So if anybody else tried to do that Ultimate Warrior character, it wouldn't get over. He got over because he was the first one. Even if you can do it better, even if you can work and do it better, doesn't matter. Right? There's never going to be another Undertaker.
Sure.
Right? Even if you can do it better, which you can't. He did it so well. But you know what I mean? Like, stop trying to copy other wrestlers. Everybody that's coming to the shows knows what you're copying. Come up with something cool. Right? Make sure that it matches with your moves and matches with the way you wrestle. So that's a long explanation of what to do, but it's a really simple thing. Stop fucking watching wrestling. Don't be a mark. Right? We're all marks. Like, we do this. We're wrestling fans, right? We're all in our underpants, like, rolling around with each other. Like, it's weird. We're all weirdos. Don't let anybody tell you different. But be different. Be what you want it to be. And it's hard. That's the hardest part. Taking bumps and being fucked up, it's easy to get hit by a car. Right? But coming up with that, like how to be different. Don't try to be wrestling different. Be fucking different. So that's the biggest advice I can give.
Yo, hey, that's what it's all about. First of all, we got to make sure we give thanks and praise to my man, the angel of murder out here, baby, putting him down, putting him to sleep. Well, do you put him to sleep or do you just kill him? Is there a between with you?
It depends on if the guy's willing.
Okay, it depends.
Depends on what we're doing.
Okay, fair enough. I'm gonna stay on this side of the couch. Until next time, this has been your boy Jon Johnson, straight out of KingSlayer Gaming. I got the baddest professional wrestler on this side of the coast and the entire joint out here. My man, the badass Joe Graves, dog. Until next time, you know what it is.